Hello and welcome to episode 12 of our Timberborn 1.1 experimental playthrough with the Iron Teeth faction here in Timberpunk 2 on hard mode. Since we have this to watch explode, let's take a look at this, and then I want to talk to you guys about something that keeps coming up in the comments, and I want to put something straight once and for all. After this blows up. And... come on. There we go. So, goodbye to that thing. Let's go ahead and hit pause. And let's find a unstable core that is available on the surface. I think there's a couple in this general area that I should be able to get to. I can't just click on the one that's right here because we already know which one that is. It's kind of hard to see these things, honestly. Okay, here's 3 right here. These are buried, and this one's on the surface. So, this one has a radius of 1. What we're going to do is I'm going to go into dev mode to show you guys how this works, and then we're going to reload the map without me having exploded this. But in dev mode, you can see this has an explosion radius of 1, and yes, you can set these off prematurely with the help of dynamite, but that does not, as I'm about to demonstrate, reduce the blast radius, and it's not going to work in the middle. So let's just hit this, and that's going to set it off, and it still does the normal 1 blast radius. Now, underneath here, we scroll back down. These also have a radius of 1, and if this one blows up, then there's going to be consequences for the land above it, and this is going to disappear as well. So I'm just going to demonstrate that again. Come in here with a tunnel, again placed in dev mode so we can, actually do it without having to wait 10,000 years. Dynamite. That explodes, and you can see the radius still pops out, and then this above also goes away. So, I'm not exactly sure how this keeps coming up, and people are so adamant that you can stop it from destroying everything. That's absolutely not how that works. And here, this thing, with its radius of 5, because it is on the bottom of the map, watch this. You take this out. Still, everything's up top. If I go to place dynamite here, you can't do it. It's the bottom of the map. So it is super impossible for this to even be a thing. It won't even let me force it with the control button. And if you come down from the top with, say, double dynamite, set that off, that also doesn't detonate it. So there's no way, absolutely none, to get this to not go off unless you go into dev mode and you cheat by deleting without exploding, which we can do, but we're not going to, because that's not the spirit of the game. I just wanted to make sure that we're all on the same page with this, because this keeps coming up, and it's baffling that how often this keeps getting mentioned. I'm not mad at you guys for saying that. We need to be on the same page. So let's hit load and go back to what we were doing before. Alright, so now that we've gotten that out of the way, we can all proceed as planned. We've already watched this get exploded wherever that was. We don't need to see that again. Now, what we need to focus on today is clearing this center area away from the unstable core, which, as we see, is going to go off in 12 days. And that is basically the only thing we really need to focus on down here. Upstairs with the bots, we have a couple different things we can make them do. So as soon as the sun comes up, we can see. I am going to hit pause, and we're going to go through a bunch of these little tiny things that you guys have brought up in your comments, which I do always appreciate. Even if we disagree, please know that. Let's hit pause. All right. So, up here in the bot district, which I will run a poll, if I remember, in the next day or two, before the next episode this comes out, we do not have this set to automatically assign all jobs to bots. Thank you for pointing that out. That has been fixed. And then we also have this scavenger flag, which is not set for bots. Now it is. And anything we place further in botland, which, again, I'm going to poll you guys to see what you want it to be called, will be set to bots. Let's just do a cursory check of everything in this district, make sure I don't have anything else, and we're good. Alright, so that helps that one problem there. We have over here a single geothermal engine that is all but connected to our network here. We're going to lose 1200 HP when these things go boom, so we need to replace 1200 HP. We have this that is not super convenient to get connected. Yes, I do understand that. But we have some options here. We have this stream here, which I did managed to figure out when I stopped recording the previous episode, this is a normal water source. It's not a drain. So one of the great ideas that I saw that I really want to implement is blocking this in, forcing the water up through this hole, and then reblocking this drain so we have clean water coming into the crater here. Presently, there shouldn't be any amount of bad water coming in unless it's a bad tide, and getting any amount of clean water down here that we don't already have flowing in is absolutely going to be a great idea. That being said, if we're going to do that, we need to have a mechanism to get bad water out. And currently, this does go down one more level here, and we're going to want to give ourselves some method of expelling bad water, which means we either need to put in a couple of levees here because we don't really have dirt yet. We do have access to dirt. If I wanted to get the terrain blocks unlocked, we could do that. But I think what's going to make the most sense is just to create a very simple automated good water, bad water diversion system here. Not a huge priority right now because we need to get all the stuff connected for power and moved around in the bottom. This would not be very difficult to do and would keep us in a much, much better situation. So that is on the map. In the main district here, we do have a bot charger that is not being used because there's no bots. We can pause that. That's 50 free, quote-unquote, HP. And then regarding connecting this is still a work in progress. The main beavers are supposed to be doing it. That is kind of an important thing. I shouldn't deprioritize it. But we will get there when we get there. Right now, we need to relocate. We need to evaluate what exactly is going to go away. Come on, autosave. So that is basically all of this, yes, including the explosives factory we just built, including the medium warehouse, including the gear workshop, furniture, all three of these things, and a decent bit of farmland. I can't remember if that is also included. No. So that's what we're going to lose, and it is going to open up water here to flow down into this area. But remember, this is blocked off, and this does not connect. So we're just going to have clean water in here underneath the land, which, honestly, it's fine. I don't think we really need to be that worried about it. We just need to make sure we can access water. Could be a decent spot to put some more pumps. So right now, the only thing we need to do is replace the power and move these buildings. We have 12 days. Don't worry, we're going to get it done. Outside of that, up here in Botland, we have this connected. We have this powered. We do have the ability, once this gets cleared out, to put some water in here and get pumping. We also have the ability, if we feel adventurous, to open this back up and then put power shafts and water wheels and stuff here to harness some of the power as this drains off the map. I don't know that we really need to be focused on that at this exact moment, but that is an option we have. In terms of getting more power down here, I think the better thing to do is just focus on harnessing what's already convenient. Like right here, we have this source that is only going to turn off during a drought, and we already established this is going to give us about 120 HP. That's very doable. We have water coming through here of the bad variety, and that, while also, not being tremendously powerful, is still something that's worth looking into doing, and it's close. So, like I said, we have 1200 HP we need to replace. We got 400 coming from here that will be connected before the end of the 12 days. If we get ahead of it now, and we're careful about how we implement things, we're going to be in good shape. We have water coming in here with this drill. This one is paused because it has nowhere to go. Once this explodes, that will be substantially less of a problem. But it's also possible that in 11 days we'll be in a drought or a bad tide. In fact, it's guaranteed, because this is hard mode, we'll be in one of those two things. So, depending on what it ends up being, drought versus bad tide may inform how much we pump out of this before that happens. We also have the option, which is something that I did kind of start a long time ago, to block this off as it stands and just move on to something else. So if I unmark this levee, I need to go back and click on this again. Yeah, that's going to be fine there, and then I need to put I know. I just keep clicking on more of this stuff. Exactly right here would be a decent spot to put a couple more levees. So that does mean that this deep water pump is not really going to be super useful. But, we'll get rid of it when it can stop pumping. So that should keep the water in here. We can do what we want to do with this at some other point in time. We do have a decent amount of logs, and I do think it's going to be to our benefit to put in some of this stuff. I want to check and see, flow-wise, if these large water wheels would be worth doing. Remember that they do have to be supported. Even if there's nothing underneath, it's not going to really let me do it, and we need to research these anyway. So why don't we, just for the sake of argument, pop this in here, and then very briefly give this a shot, see what it's going to look like. Yeah, you know, 181 HP is nothing to sneeze at, and that would capture everything draining in from this side and be, in my opinion, well worth doing. And if we approach this way, it wouldn't be hard to get this power shaft connected here, on top of here, and be pretty good to go. I just want to make sure that they don't come down here in the poison water, because obviously, so the stairs can go away, and at that point we just have to figure out how we're going to do the rest of this. So we can't get across here unless I put in some sort of way to get across. I will put a platform temporarily. Mark this tree for deletion because I don't want to wait for somebody to come cut it down. It's going to be okay. Don't worry about it. It's two logs. And to get across to this, I believe I can probably get away with just doing this. And then putting a vertical power shaft, putting a regular power shaft, and then getting this popped in there. That will connect. Vertical power shaft, this can just go all the way across. In fact, I don't really need this to not be blocking any land because this is already contaminated. So we'll just have to have this come over the path, and we may actually just route it around here and replace this, of course, during the drought or bad tide. Excuse me, because this won't be accessible. We will get there, and it will be fine. Let's move our paths out here. And that is going to not be quite enough to get me where I need to go, so we will have to... You know, actually, this is already... already got a lumberjack flag here. And we're not on a super time crunch to do this. It's just one of those things that we do need to do eventually. Yeah, we'll just let them do that. That's on the list. This is for proximity purposes. That should be close enough. We can pre-place all of these power shafts, except this one. Yes, it's probably technically a little cheaper to just put stairs here, but beaver access, in my opinion, is more important than convenience of straight power anyway. Feel free to disagree, that's always allowed. Yeah, but this will get connected pretty easily, pretty nicely that way. That'll help. It's not going to replace everything, but it's going to help. Now, coming down in here, this drain is going to still be a thing. We could do something similar over here with another larger power wheel. Let's actually check this and see. Okay, 42, that's probably not worth the building cost. But the compact ones, okay, that says 18, 19. Well, these are cheap. We will see what we can get into. Just know that I am thinking about it. Trying my best, earnestly. Everything else, I did talk about this bot district here. These guys are going to need to, on a long enough timeline, remove as many brambles as possible. Brambles, thorns, whatever. So that we can have good access to as much power as we possibly can. This is a drain, remember, so we do want to block this off. I don't know that it's really in our best interest to get this prioritized for the bots to work on. But I also know that we need to get power, and this will help in that regard. Having some sort of flow, even if it's minor, having some sort of flow that we can, you know, exploit for power purposes is going to be a good idea. In terms of trees, This does, you know, still have some trees available here. There's trees available here. We've got plenty of things to do. I just don't know that we need to be worried about this up here quite as much as we need to be worried about this down here. Pumping is obviously still extremely important. We need to get these unpaused. Now that everything is, in fact, able to be pumped, we need to pump as much as we possibly can before it is too late. Now I have 20 vacancies. So now that that's been taken care of, we can move to fixing some of these things. Builders' huts really aren't that big of a deal. This is already deprioritized. So that's 4 of our vacancies. That's another 3. We're at 7. And 7 out of 20 plus another 7 here. So we're at 14. The rest of the vacancies that are currently open, I guess we could just check. Go to the regular district here. Water pumps are going to be all staffed. District center is, for some reason, minimum priority. Okay, I did set that a while back. Let's not do that. Let's make the builders' huts all lower priority. Not lowest. Gather flag is still an important thing. Industrial lumber mill, this one has 0 because it's paused. That's fine. Adventures we already talked about. Lumberjack flags, probably need those. Scavenger flags deprioritized. That's good. The scavenger flags are not, strictly speaking, super necessary. The smelter is paused. We are starting to run out of scrap metal, but we're also not using it right now because, again, this is paused because our storage is good. So, to help this, what is this, SpongeBob? To help this, I am just going to hit pause on all of, okay, this guy can't even reach anything anyway, so let's pause that. We do have trees available over here. Lumberjack-wise, they are going to want access up here. Yeah, fastest way to get up to this spot would be to build stairs here, but they can't really do that. So instead, because we have the technology, let's come over here, pop in. Maybe we want this to be closer to this area. And I know they're not going to build all this right away. I'm just thinking long enough terms here. That's going to help us get access to these. Come on, autosave. All right, I guess that wasn't autosave. My computer just hates me. This will help. Marked for cutting. Marked for cutting. Marked for cutting, so on and so forth. This guy can also reach here and some of these, which is good. And that should, including the hauling post, that should get us about where we want to go. So, finally unpausing. Letting these guys do what they've got to do. We'll keep up with pausing and unpausing this. I know we need to automate it. It's not on my priority list at the moment very high because we have so much else going on, but we will at some point do it. Just want to make sure we can have as much pumped and stored as we can, and as much of this done as we can before this goes off. The only reason these are still paused is because I need the beavers to pump, and it's very likely within the next 3 or 4 days that, well, I guess minimum 3 full days, that we won't be able to pump, or we won't want to pump because it'll be a drought or a bad tide, which means I can put beavers in here, and then we can move all this around. It's going to be fine. Going to be totally fine. So, moving on to the next. I was talking about putting in thorn demolition that was going to be a low priority. I think at this point we can safely have them start doing basically all of this at a lower priority. I am going to, like I said, super deprioritize all of it, but we are going to get them going, and the reason it's all going to be super low priority is because if I want them to go somewhere else and do more, then I can just have that be normal. So that is what we are going to do in that regard. There's more trees that can be cut. More trees will become available as they cut more brambles away. Thorns. Look, I'm always going to call them brambles. That's just how it goes. Make sure these are all marked. I know we've got oaks somewhere over here. We'll get taken care of what we're supposed to be taking care of. I am going to preemptively place a levee here, because I don't anticipate bad water being a super huge problem. least not for a while. This is still kind of yuck, but it is flowing over here. Now we can come over here and put in a couple of pieces of stuff here. I should be able to build all of these. Maybe not this one. No, definitely that one, but the thing on top might end up being a problem. We'll see what they can take care of. But my main goal is to get this hooked up, actually hooked up. This is all taken care of here, so that we don't have to worry about this. Like, well, okay, I can't really say ever again, but shouldn't have to worry about it in any serious sense of the word for quite some time. Alright, this here can be safely... Yeah, well, we can save ourselves a little bit of grief and do that. Just connect through the district center of sadness. What did I call this? Farm upstate? Yep. Alright, so this is going reasonably well. Yep. Not really too many complaints there. Okay, what else? What else? Bot part factories are something we should pursue. We don't necessarily have to focus on it now because, again, I really want to make sure that we handle this correctly. But having more bots is going to be a great, great thing. That being said, there are still... I'm on the wrong side of the map. There are still bot parts available that aren't crazy hard to get to. They are pretty far away. But it's not the end-all be-all in terms of you have to make more parts or you can't do anything. We just have to be able to do reasonable things to get over to this area. Also, this unstable core is definitely going to explode some of these bot parts, which we don't really want to happen. We have not technically access over here, but it would help us get close-ish to come across this way, except there's scrap metal in the way. It's almost like the person who designed this map knew what I was thinking when I was looking at that. I digress. We should also get these brambles removed, because this is going to really increase our access to everything else. Yeah, I don't want to remove the trees by the demolition method if I don't have to. Just taking a little bit of time to make sure we get these highlighted correctly without missing much. Take advantage of the bots while we still have them. I know the durability on the bots is pretty good, but they're not going to last forever. These are already at 63%, so we should get a move on. Maybe sooner rather than later. But, again, power coming through here is going to be the most important thing. That the, well, this isn't technically the bot district, but you know what I'm getting at. You know what I'm getting at. We've got plenty of things to do. Let's actually prioritize this. Because I know they're going to be working on all of this, and that's good because I did tell them to do it. Where have you heard that one before? Yeah. You know what we're about at this point. Just got to get it done. Got to get it done. 57 biobeavers is probably fine for now. I want to avoid the biobeavers having to do anything relating to removing thorns if we can help it. And like I said, 400 here. This will be about another 200-ish coming from this mess, which gets us to 600, which is about half of what we need. In a bad tide, there will be some flowing through here. Probably not enough to really have it be worth it. Steam engines, also, you know, a good source of power because they're very stable, but you do have to supply them with wood and, more importantly, water. That was a change that was made a couple updates back. So, would like to try and avoid these, and would like to get as much of the geothermal power piped in as we can. We can technically get this hooked up over here. I think that would probably be more trouble than it's worth, at least right now. Which means getting this area connected is also going to be a thing. This is probably too far away to really be super worth it. And this could be our best hope, but it's still an expedition through a whole bunch of thorns and might not be the best idea. The good news among all of this is that when this detonates, it will be most likely about halfway through a drought or a bad tide, and thus we will not need 800 HP worth of power immediately. We'll be able to run with one of these, and if it's a bad tide, also increased flow through the large water wheel, and then the thing here being the same. And I think it won't be quite as bad as some of you are saying. Now, it's still going to be bad. We do understand that. But we have ways to make it slightly less terrible. Getting this dammed up is going to be really important. Probably the second most important building project we can do up here. And since this is in the bot district, we may as well have them focus on some of this. So we have a drain coming through here. If we go to this level, assuming that these are going to activate at some point soon, we really want this to be draining out this way, which means all of this has to be filled in. So in my mind's eye, the easiest way to do that is to come in this area, maybe right about here, and then just fill this up. That's going to go there. Is this a blockage, not a dam? Blockage, not a dam. That's fine. Blockage, not a dam means that this does not have to be removed. But this tree does. That can go away. We can build on top of it. Build about everything we have. This same level is going to help. It might not be perfect. We might want to go up one more level past that, but that's a bunch more work. Instead, getting this set up, I think, is going to be the right move. This does seem to be dormant. We don't know if it's going to be a drain or a regular source. The way this is set up is similar to how the other drains are. Where's the thing over here? Yeah, so I'm guessing that's probably what it is. But again, we don't know. These are still dormant, dormant, dormant. That's, can't click on that, dormant, 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 dormant. So again, right now, not a huge concern. But it's going to be a huge concern just the moment that it becomes queued up to be active. So doing this is going to be one of the more important things, like I said. The bot beavers are going to be able to take care of a lot of that. I do have these technically slightly more important, so what I will do, probably mark these as unimportant and then these as super unimportant. The reason I'm doing this is so this guy can get to more of the trees. But that is going to send them over here to take care of that. This guy is not bothering to work on anything except building this, which I guess is fine. That was always allowed. This pine tree being removed is kind of important. I am going to prioritize that. We know we have this working. I'm not going to change this out until we don't need these anymore. Capacity-wise, we have another 600-ish capacity, but a lot of that capacity is... That's bad water. A lot of that capacity is outlying in these other tanks, which is not very efficient of us. So we are going to want to build more. I did talk about unlocking the large tank, and I had originally said we shouldn't build it yet because the material cost was not really justified. However, we have a bunch of science, we have 150 metal, which we did not have, I think, the last time we talked about this. And the gear situation is not as desperate since we've built a couple of these things. So I'm going to go ahead and unlock this large tank. These pumps are still going to be viable long term because this isn't getting exploded. So I do want to pop in, I guess, since this spot is currently accessible, I don't know, that's really not a great place to put it though, so maybe I shouldn't. Here actually would not be a horrible thing, but it is kind of far away. Yeah, if this is going to be like a repository for the beavers to drink from, then we want it to be closer to the housing anyhow. Here would not be a horrible spot. We could still path around this. This is the critical mass of housing here. If I move medical beds, we don't have that many injured beavers. They can go somewhere else. This teeth grindstone is really not in a great spot, so this will go away. This water, again, will be fine on the ground for a little bit of time. I'm just going to have this, I guess right here is fine. Set that to a water thing. We're going to start filling this up. Actually, it's already completely full, so this is now a priority building. We do have the materials to build all of it. Should not be an issue. This is... okay, they have like half the planks. They have enough. They have enough to make this work. We got plenty of builders. We're still pumping, but it does seem like now these are very full. So yeah, go ahead and yell at me for deleting that if you want. That's fine. That was always allowed. These guys are... okay, they are taking logs from here, or they are filling logs? Looks like they are taking. Okay, well that's fine. Still cutting down some trees. We got some thorns here that we don't want to prioritize moving yet. This is currently not doing anything because it's not super accessible, but it does give us power that we can connect over time. Not going to be super quick about it, but that is accessible. This is another thing that we technically still have like another 10 days to do. Have they gotten over here? They kind of have. Okay. So getting this blocked off is going to be maybe, well, don't really have any other options to do this without using wood. I guess we can go for that. Keep this on this side is probably fine. Yeah, that is just going to be one of those kind of things that's going to take us a little bit of time. We have the ability to get over on this side, but that does block us from getting back in here. So what's going to happen is this is going to get placed here, which they can do by standing on this once the thorns are removed. That can just be kind of the thing that they're going to take care of there. We got time still, but we are slowly working through there. In terms of bad water, there's still some in here. This will continue to drain, and then we can put some beavers in there. I'm really hoping we get a drought and not a bad tide. That would be great. Yes, we can get this on triple speed, make some good progress here. Then let them take care of the rest of this the best that they can. Well, bad tide warning, so this has become substantially more interesting. Okay, that was just a big autosave. So, with a bad tide, that does mean that we will need to be really diligent about harnessing stuff here. Obviously, the storage for water is really important, so I'm going to let them finish that, but then building this water wheel is going to be very, very, very important. Now that this is accessible, I think they can build all of these. Hopefully nobody gets silly-billied, because you know that's my absolute favorite thing when that happens. Sarcasm. But, yeah, we're not that far from having that taken care of. This is basically, yeah, almost done. Just get that finished up. They will pick up all of the planks and the water on the ground and pop it in there, and then we'll have more to pump. This is not filling up because this can't go fast enough because we're pumping the living daylights out of it. But now look at that. We've basically doubled our water storage capacity overnight. Grand scheme of things, it's about 3420. This district, the capacity is 25 and half of it is here. So that has helped a lot. I would love to have another one of these. I do not have the materials as far as gears or planks to do it. Let's check in on what's happening here. Okay, they're making progress. Not terribly quickly. I probably should prioritize the thorns and the tree removal just to get as much of this done as possible. Okay, that's at 85%. They're actively working on that. Who's flooded? Okay, that we kind of figured was going to happen. Just leave that as it is. Pumping, pumping, pumping. This is now overflowing here. That's good. We got 1.9 days. Water here can be pumped. Not going to take anybody out of this. This is now rotating 182 HP, and that number is going to go up as all of this goes beneath. You know what? I do have to wonder if removing this overhang first would have been smart. You know, I'm going to choose not to worry about it. Logs. Why does that say logs are a problem? That should not be a problem. Let's give this a staircase here just so we can get all these trees. These need to be marked. Yeah, bad tide unfortunately is going to mean we can't use this, which is regrettable. But we do have a little bit of time before this will become completely, you know, impossible to use. Who has nothing to do in range? You as a lumberjack. Okay, that can just be paused. And you as a bot lumberjack. Well, I guess for now this can be paused. Scrap metal. Oh, we are out of scrap metal storage. I guess that's another thing we should probably have. What over here has not been... Oh, so we got 10, 15. Okay. I'm going to say it's not worth losing our minds over that. I'm going to go ahead and detonate this. Let this fill up, because in a bad tide, having water is going to be a great idea no matter where it is, and we can also have bots pump this, and then we can, yes, build a... Where is it? There it is. Build a district crossing to actually export stuff appropriately. But now we are on the eve of the bad tide here. Let's get that turned on the last little bit. Okay, this evaporated anyway. All right. I'm going to pre-pause all of these. Not that it matters. They're not working anyway. Just get this filled up as best we can. I would like to avoid pumping if I don't absolutely need to. This is now down to -5. This will be rotating prodigiously. We've got bad water that's going to come through here. Got bad water that's already coming through here. There will be more. It will go out this way. I haven't seen really any notifications that a whole bunch of more stuff has opened up, but you already know it's going to get real bad real quick just as soon as I turn my back. So they're working on that bot-wise. That's fine. This is fine. Platform here and levee here will be fine. This can be done here and here. They can get back behind that, which also means all of this can be done. Do I have enough? I have 7 logs. That is not very many logs. This is continuing to fill this area. This isn't going to flow off too much. Iron Teeth, so we have the water pump that has the 6-meter straw, so we can suck out of that. That's fine. Okay, let's hit pause right before this turns to bad tide, just so we can make absolutely sure we're okay. We did increase the ability of this to pass by here since we blocked this bad water. I don't know if that's that big of a deal. This, unfortunately, is going to become very polluted, which is a shame because now this is nice and clean. But at least we know what our options are. That's fine. This is about ready to be replaced with, presuming I can actually get this built correctly. Something tells me they probably can build this from below, from the corner, from over here, so that should be fine. That'll get this power connected. This is already hooked up, so that will be a big help. Everything over here is probably fine. So, all we can do is put on a brave face and watch what happens here. How long of a bad tide are we going to get? And... come on. Oh boy, 17 days. Well, that's certainly one of the bad tide durations of all time. Could be worse. Let's get this turned back on. We're going to lose a pretty substantial portion of our cassava crop here, which, you know, isn't the complete end of the world. Get a beaver in here pumping, because that's a good spot for pumping. This is already here. That's good. 17 days is going to be a pretty long one compared to what we're used to. A couple more days. Remember, we have 6 days until the unstable cores go off. These are the only flooded buildings, which is fine for now. This continuing to be what we already knew it was going to be. Power-wise, this is now making almost 500. So, all of you who were concerned about, you know, the power going away here, I think we're going to be all right. For the time being, it is not a permanent solution, but it will help us tremendously. Okay, bot's going to run out of power. That is one of the consequences of working over here. In terms of getting trees harvested, we do need to get them going on some more stuff here. Maybe instead of getting these removed, it would have been better to have them taking care of this. Let's just have them start over here. I'm going to mark as many of these thorns as I can and then just blanket deprioritize these. Okay, most of the ones that are just blocking trees probably should be focused on. I don't think there's really a ton of them over here that are going to be super mission critical, but you know how this goes. Not that one. Perspective. Yeah. There they... Oh, no, 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 no. No. Absolutely not. Well, these idiots are going to get injured for no good reason. This hopefully is now out of range enough for these clowns to stop doing what they're doing before it's completely impossible to survive. Okay, getting that put in. They should do that sooner rather than later. We've got mad water coming through here. Is this still about 500? Okay, 450-ish. It's probably going to go down. Remember that this one right here, this platform, is going to be replaced with another wheel. That's just for them to actually build this. So that will be removed. We'll put that in place. That'll help us out a lot. And... come on. Alright. Now, this goes here. A cool 119 HP. No problems. Alright, we still have stupid biobeavers doing this? No? Okay. Well, that's fine. We have a tremendous quantity of things that need to be taken care of, so I guess it's not the end of the world that they were doing some of that. Tree cutting, tree cutting, tree cutting. Everybody needs tree cutting. Bad water is not flowing into here. Probably because we removed one of the sources that was contributing to that. Yeah. All that bad water is flowing in from here, so that's not currently an issue. Yes, this is becoming poisoned, which is regrettable. But now, this is connected to our grid to great effect. This is not drawing any power, so we don't need to worry about it. They should be, hopefully sometime soon. Looks like these guys are on the way to do that. Looking pretty good. Is this still doing about 450? Yep. Working well. They're doing what they can. They just don't have a lot of logs, and that is one of those things we do need to be continuously working on. They'll get to it when they get to it. Now, when I removed that, what do you call it? Yeah, that was the only one. Tooth grinding station. So let's replace that. Maybe. I guess this is kind of far away from what we're, mostly cutting, but that's all right. We have 6 days. So it's probably about time for us to start relocating a bunch of this stuff. Just to get a refresher on what is going to go bye-bye. That's what's going bye-bye. The power running across here is not going to be affected. So we just need to find a new spot for the explosives factory, the gear workshop, and the fermenter. And then the storage of gears that can easily be moved somewhere else. So that's what we need to do. I'm not going to worry about this because we already have this one that is not being used. So let's just close this one up as soon as it finishes this gear. The fermenter is running. Isn't super mission critical, but we can rebuild it. We have the technology. We can just put that right there. Get that out of there. And then at that point, the only other thing we will need to replace the location of is the explosives factory, which currently isn't doing anything anyway. So just get that thing removed. And then gear storage, let me just double check I haven't already put something else. No, I have not. So, gear storage should ideally be in a place where gears are being produced. That being said, why don't we start building another large tank, utilize some of those gears in the construction. We don't have to finish building it, but that's an easy way to get them out of there without it being a huge pain in the butt. So now that I have that one there, I'm going to put another one here. We do have the planks, we do have the metal, and the gears will just hold it up. Then we don't have to worry quite so much about that, and this will be so much easier. This is put in place. This one's already done. So when this blows up, this will not be affected, and the only things that we have to worry about are the ones I already said weren't going to be that big of a deal. I am going to try to recover all the materials, including in the geothermal engines. So, again, we still have like 6 days. But we're looking in a decent position for this. Got plenty of this. Food is still looking really good. Cassava we probably should still have for the purpose of well-being. That's kind of an important thing. But it doesn't need to be our staple crop. It hasn't been for quite some time. How are we looking over here? They're still trying to cut down trees. Attempting to, being the operative term. They are, they're working on something. They were getting it done. Kind of. We already said this was connected. I do want to send some down here to just, you know, straight line connect this. That's probably a bot job and not a bio-beaver job. Okay. While we're here, this is another good comment somebody left saying that I should build one-way flow valves in these tunnels so that it can't backflow where it's not supposed to backflow. Like, say, right here would be a great place to do that. And, you know, I agree. I obviously am not going to send beavers down here right now, and the bots have more important work to do upstairs. But especially after we block this off, bad tide drains, which, again, who knows when that's going to be because we're in 16 days left in a bad tide. But blocking any more bad water from coming in here, easy thing to do. Just got to get there at the right time. So this is just about done. They've got the last piece of power shaft there as well, and then I just need to replace this since we're not using this anymore, at least for right now. Yes, come and grab the one log because you know how important the logs are. Somebody come and get it. Thank you. Vertical power shaft and regular power shaft. That'll get that taken care of. And then we will have 567 HP added to our pool here from the 400 that's there, which will take care of most of the things that we are currently worried about. Now remember when I said I was going to stop this one? Well, I will let them get to this last thing made. Nope. Jumped the gun. And come on, beaver. Alright, there we go. That one's done. It's gone. They're still fermenting this. This is not yet finished. All these pieces of wood on the ground are going to get picked up. I am going to stop this one now and get rid of it. This has removed these two things here, but we're still supplying more than our demand. So that is fine. In fact, since there's only 5 days left and we don't currently need that much power, I'm going to turn on the smelter because that would be a smart thing to do since we have all that scrap metal. And then, since that still isn't outpacing our demand, our supply, I think it's time to say goodbye to these things and start picking up the pieces. Again, we're not using the power right now anyway. It's going to be okay. Just get rid of that, get rid of that, get rid of that. I'm not going to get rid of this guy yet because this is still kind of important. But this is pretty much the best we can do to solve most of this. Oh, they actually finished this. I did not think that was going to be possible. Okay, well, good news is we got water there. Let's start moving some of these reserve tank contents. Also, this has some water. Not that it really matters. There's water down there. I know we haven't gotten into irrigating this yet. That's on the list. It's not a super high priority. That's bad water. You know what? I can just click on this, now that I know that's a thing. We can move some of these smaller tanks. That's got 29 in it. Oh, that's not connected. Alright, that's something else then. I know up here this is technically a different district. It's good to have reserves, so I think we can leave that alone. Nope, that's the wrong button. I think we're looking better. We're looking better. So we're picking up all these things. Remember how much of this farmland's going to be removed so I can think about what I'm doing there. Yeah, so these paths are going to go away. This is still connectable here. So let's do these two unplanted. I'm just going to get rid of that. We can ensure path continuity. Actually, you know what? Who cares? Just get rid of that. We'll ensure path continuity there. Let's get back down here to click on this again. This is going to be able to be rebuilt. It's going to be okay. These gears I want to store somewhere else, so I'm going to go ahead and remove that entirely. It's worth checking again. Yeah, that's going to block bad water from getting into this crater. That's fine. Should have absolutely no problems with that. Let's instead, now that this is going to get blown up, let's just rebuild gear storage elsewhere. Do I have a... Oh, I have one right here. Okay, well, you know what? Let's just do that. Make that a pretty easy thing. This needs... of course it does. Needs logs to be attached. Okay. Well, that's fine. This doesn't need to be manned, beavered, whatever you want to call it anymore. Get this on triple speed. Yeah, the water level here is not a problem whatsoever at the time being, but it's going to be so as soon as we have enough logs to do a lot of this, probably should make an effort to cover or defeat some of these. We will see. Alright, so this is taken care of here. I will go ahead and place, thank you, autosave. Two things here, then we'll put some here, and then we will we'll have to put something on top of this ladder. That's fine. That was regular bad water. Cutting down trees seems to be going kind of okay. I know there's all sorts of other stuff we could be cutting down and having them do. But for now, could always be a whole lot worse. I think since this is only going to be clean water, it's worth at some point coming over here and filling this in so that this can basically just be forever irrigation up here. And we already had that connected. I wonder if it's going to be worth having the bots come in over here, or if we should just focus the next thing on... Yeah, because these bots are already at 50%. Getting bot production started is not going to be crazy hard. We just have to make sure that we have enough pieces available. We can probably get that going after this unstable core goes off. I think would be a smart thing to do. Yeah, okay, we've already got all of these things taken care of, all the stuff brought up. Power is way more than we need right now. Now, if we built even just a single bot part factory, then we might need to keep a little bit of that in mind. But I think for what we're trying to do... Let's see, I really don't want to build 3 of them. I feel like that would cost way too much. But we should start with at least 1. This is already kind of pointless space anyhow. How quickly can I build 2 of these, and can I do it in the next 2.2 days? Because I could pretty easily. Yeah. Let's do that. Let's build 2 of these. Oh, that's okay. Well, you know what? We don't need this right now. We can always rebuild it, except for the part where it actually does power shaft whatevering. That's fine. We'll have this come back into the backside here. We can always add another one if we want. The thing I'm really mainly worried about in terms of bot parts is keeping up with limbs. We can kind of rotate between some things, and it's not, mission critical that we have 1 billion bots. We just need to make sure we can replace the 4 that we have and slowly increase that number. So we'll get there. Not a crazy huge problem right now, but it is a pretty large one. We got 2 days. These are, still making plenty of stuff. Probably gears-wise. Got 25 that need to go here. 25 more that need to go here. This will be probably not completely able to keep up, but I think we're going to be fine, especially once I demolish this geothermal engine. Oh, no, that doesn't have gears. Never mind. Well, that's going to be a fun problem to solve then. Oh, they built this one first. Okay, I guess let's have some... No, that consumes gears. Nope, we're not going to do that. This just has to be, just has to be done. Oh, I know where the gears are. The gears are up here. Well, guess what? Now they're not. Don't you love it when that happens? So this guy's got nothing to do. Okay, well that's, first of all, not correct. There's plenty of trees to cut down. Just have to map them out. Make sure these are appropriately done. Alright, they're in the process of building this. That is, waiting on materials. They just need to get those. Well, now that I unceremoniously removed... Oh, that log storage was empty anyway. But yeah, now we'll have the gears to get this done. We will need to increase gear production. Yes, I know. But now I've got... Yeah. I think it's just time to go ahead and get this stuff cleaned up. So it's not going to be as big of a disaster when it does go off. And we can preemptively remove these paths from the areas of most likely to kill beavers when this goes off in one day. Yeah, let's remap our paths here and here. Okay, that's taken care of that. And then the big issue is going to be... Of course, that's where the doorway to that is. We'll be fine. We just have to make sure... Because that's going to go off at the beginning of the day anyway. There's not going to be anybody over here. Especially if this path is disconnected. So that's going to be okay. Just got to let them do what they got to do. Raise your hand if you're sick of me saying that. Because I'm not going to stop. Alright, who's got nothing to do in range? This one. Lumberjack flag, that can be paused. Get somebody else somewhere else. 12 days left. Still plenty of water to irrigate here. That is fine. 2,400 water in reserve overall. 2,000 in this district. That is looking good. Bot parts are stored here. That is fine. We can turn this one back on when the time comes. Yeah, right now this is basically exactly enough power supply for everything we're doing. This is... Oh, it's right, because this isn't connected here because this one's not finished. But it will be. Got the gears coming down. That'll be okay. How are we doing over here? Okay, this guy can't really get any more stuff because of the not brambles. This guy is getting some of those. We're putting this in place. Even though it's not a huge deal right now, we are preparing. Alright, so this is all cleaned up. We got 0.8 days. What else can be recovered materials-wise is going to be worth... Okay, I've got a single platform, which you might be saying, you don't need to worry about that. Well, that's 5 planks. That is not an insignificant quantity of planks when you're playing hard mode. So this is fine. This is the only path that's really dangerous. And there shouldn't be beavers on it anyway. And if they are, well, don't do that. Problem solved. I think otherwise everything is looking about as good as it can. Okay, bot chassis, planks and metal blocks going in there. That's connected all the power. This one is turned off. I'm going to, because now we know this is possible, start making this. And then, once I have 2 more bot limbs and 1 more chassis, guess what? I can make 1 more bot, because that's how this works. And then eventually we can build a another bot part factory over here. Or dead space zone. Don't need to pump probably for the rest of this bad tide. We may want to, but I don't think we need to. Everything else is looking okay. Progress is going on here. I am slightly concerned that I haven't seen any warnings for additional things activating. But I also don't see signs of anything else activating. So why don't we do this? I know I'm doing a whole lot of why don't we do XYZ, but let's get a bot over here. Cut down all of these trees, as many as we can. And then, since this is already dry, I'm going to have them set to demolish that, and then I'm going to start building that up. I know they can't reach it. We're going to get there. Don't worry about it. But getting this blocked off is going to be great, because then this can be even more filled with water, and then we can start pumping here. We can store some. We can export via the district center crossing thing, whatever. Then be in decent shape. This is, okay, it's of course an 18-hour thing. Okay, nothing new flooded that isn't supposed to be flooded. This is already looking like it's going to be, I have to check again, just understand that. Okay, no power lines are going to be disrupted. No pathways except this one that we don't really need to worry about right now anyway are going to be affected. And this will be easy enough to rebuild. 9%, 51%. I'm going to make the executive decision to not care about any of this. And just get that removed. Because I will actually, tell you what. Let's do that. Let's do that instead. That's going to allow me to just do a straight path. Okay, 0.4 days. Things looking good. Bring this back up here. They've made good progress. Let's pop this there. They shouldn't have to move anywhere else to be able to build this. That is almost enough for us to be pretty mostly, but not entirely, thank you autosave, quote-unquote safe when this does start spilling up, at least to the point of not being in extreme crisis mode. These are dams also, so this will flow through here. It cannot go anywhere else except, oh, can't go anywhere else except over here, so that's another thing to keep track of. Is maybe we should come over here. Bad water sources being dormant on this side of the map, or why is this, unless they have crazy power, maybe that's something to keep an eye on. Yeah, I think objectively most of this is probably looking okay. Not perfect. Note that I did not say it was perfect. Just getting somewhere. Okay, 62%. Got a little bit less than halfway to the 4th limb, and then I will probably turn these off and turn that one on. Build a bot and go after it. But now, folks, it is time to say sayonara to this little crater thing. I am going to disconnect all of this. I should go ahead and disconnect that as well. Let's just check one more time. I don't want any beavers in here when this goes off. Yep, that has officially disconnected all buildings that would actually need this. And yeah, that's going to be all she wrote for this whole thing. So what we get to do now is we just get to watch this thing explode and also lose 1200 HP of power potential. And then figure out where to get the rest of that piped in before the end of this bad tide. But that's not going to be a huge deal. 0.2 days until this thing goes off. This has been, for the last 12 episodes, more or less, I guess, the first boss, we should say. The big bad to begin the rest of the big bads. And, provided nobody walks into here at the worst possible moment, which has happened before, all we get to do now is just watch the fireworks. eventually. There it goes. Alright, and nobody died. There is no bad water intrusion. And now, guess what? We have a beautiful addition to our pumpable water area. You'll love to see it. So let's take the opportunity now, since power over here through here is not really going to be a huge problem. Let's do a little bit of reorganization, since we have the chance. These three are going to move. We're going to use the buildings themselves to help us transmit power across. Let's get these picked up. And since this is going to be the edge of something, let's also take that out. Grab these materials and plan out something. Now, I have the ability to run a path through here and then connect to this like so. Which means I can put a building here that will do some sort of task. Got a lumber mill, so I think it just makes sense that this be a gear workshop. That will have to have the entrance swapped over to this. That will be fine. That will keep this and this close to each other. Kind of segmented a little bit. And then on this side would probably not be a bad spot to put a little bit more food processing. And then eventually, if we want to, we can get the treated planks and do some irrigation barriers, and then this will be more farmable land. But for right now, I think this is going to be fine. Now, we don't necessarily have to put this here. This was just, actually, you know what? No, we can make this just a tiny bit better by doing a fermenter instead and maintain access to this entire area. That, I think, is going to make more sense. Let's think about this just a little bit. This farmhouse can also be moved. I should probably go one more spot this way, or depending on how I want to, yeah, let's think about this objectively. Well, yeah, I'll put that back in later. Fermenter is not a huge high priority thing, but, you know, we're still going to have cassava, so it's fine. I'm going to choose, instead, to put in my gear workshops probably here. Which side is the doorway normally on? The right side? Yeah, I'm just gonna do that. Can't put that there, can't put that there. This will be fine. Now that this has been dealt with, okay, good. I did fix that. We can probably remove this natural overhang. Clean this up just a tiny bit. I know path optimization is a hot topic these days. Yeah, we need to, honestly, we need to have more than one of these. One lumber mill can supply about 3 of these and be okay. We're going to want more at some point. Not a hugely mission critical thing at this exact moment, but we're going to improve things slowly but surely. Let's get this bot built, shall we? Just make one of these and hopefully start to take care of these guys so they're getting under 50%. Okay, this is going here. Get that done, that done. Again, this is draining, so it's fine, but being prepared is always good. This is generating power. I want to get somebody down here. This is poison. Doesn't have to be, but we do want to, at some point, get this sorted. So, we have fill valves and throttling valves. To my knowledge, the fill valve is the best replacement for the sluice. So if we go ahead and unlock this, we have tons of science. And we just put in, say, right here, and then right here, one way. And then we have them open with, oh, wait a second. This is open below. Hold on. Okay, this Yeah, okay. This is going to have to be levied, and then that is going to have to go there. That's going to have to go there. This, of course, will have to be automated with a contamination sensor, which is maybe not going to be a great thing for this. Yeah, when this had the sensor built into it, that was a lot easier. So now I'm going to have to... I'm going to have to keep this open, most likely. Well, let's... So it's been a while since I've messed with this. Contamination... Yeah, okay, that's fine. That's fine. We can automate it. It's going to be okay. Don't know why I'm talking like that. And... Yeah, we'll just leave it like this. Don't worry about it. It's going to be fine. This will evaporate. They can't reach this without standing on this thing, and that's going to be a whole can of worms. I'm just gonna put a platform here. I know they can't reach it yet. This is bot territory, as we know. That is not hooked up here, but it's about to be hooked up to there, which means I can come in here. That can be removed for bots. That can go in here. That can go in here. Get that hooked up there. Come in here. A bunch of trees to cut down, actually. This is a smart thing to get bots in here doing. Get trees removed for the benefit of everybody. And that should be, at that point, basically in range. Build that, build that. I will not be able to automate it until I have that other thing taken care of. But once that's done, all I have to do is build up on this side to completely enclose all of this. To my knowledge, the sensor is going to work fine submerged. And now that I've said that, that's probably wrong. But I... See, now I don't have the confidence that this is going to be fine. Well, that's what overhangs are for. I can always just put a cap on this. Just have to figure out what this might not be the right way to set this up. I don't know, I probably did it wrong. Oh well, that's what you guys are for. Tell me when I'm wrong, or alternatively a complete moron. So, this is now connected fine. This is power sharing. It's fine. This is at 9%. Which, you know, is fine. We're working on it. Now we just need to keep making more gears. More planks. Although planks, honestly, are looking okay for right now. Let's just get a little bit of a jump on this. This is on scrap metal. Is quite low. In fact, it is 0. Because I was having the beavers go and do other stuff. These scavenger flags can be slightly reprioritized. Yeah, 13 vacancies. Not a crazy concern at this exact moment, but we'll be fine. This will be, like I said, a great thing to pump from, water-wise. Which, why don't we go ahead, since we have the opportunity, and we're not doing anything else with this anyway, let's recapture some of this space for farming. And then I can cut off... yeah, I can cut these paths off and then build a bridge somewhere else. At least get a little bit more space. I can come across this side, and that's fine, but I do think it's going to be worth having access this way. I don't know. We're going to have to... we're going to have to see, because I know this isn't going to really be possible to fill up all of this and to support more than about 5 or 6 pumps. If we were really bold, we could connect these two, which honestly seems like a smarter option anyway. I do not have tunnels researched, despite what we did in dev mode. That's what dev mode is for, to illustrate that. 2,000 science. I've got... Okay, I don't have extract. There is extract on the map. I do not remember where it is. Is there any... There's 28 back up here. Oh, you know what I completely forgot about? All of this. Yeah, we've got extract up here. Come on, autosave. We've got extract up here that is... Okay, that's actually not that accessible. But it's good to remember what we had going on here. Okay, this is ready to have a ladder. That's what I think I said I was going to have to do. That's going to be connected here. And then we can just have this come all the way down. We've got canola seeds, we've got coffee beans, and we have a decent little space in here should we choose to take advantage of that. Somebody left a comment and said I should get canola going for eventually, and I said we probably would. I didn't want to commit too much to it. But yeah, this is going to be to our benefit to get this going. Just let them do that. Just don't exactly have enough beavers to really do everything right now. Gear storage is still very far away, but I think we're pretty much using all the gears as fast as we're making them. We probably should be redoing this path. I think that would be a smart thing, and since this isn't using any power, it's just delivering power here. Maybe taking this out and instead having this go over here would make sense, because then I could rearrange this path however I want, add more stuff. I don't know, man. This I'm not going to remove yet, because that's just going to cause all these to evaporate really, really, really quickly. I believe this will be a necessary thing for us to do in the next cycle, which will be the next episode, of course. That's fine. This is about to dry out. We're going to have to put some water in there. And then once this does get low enough, I am going to start pumping out of here, just because that makes more sense. Just want to make sure we've got everything we can possibly have going, as long as it makes sense. Get both of those in. I know we're blocking off the ladder. It's not a big deal because this is not going to be used for getting down there at all. So that's good. Oh, we've got logs here that I can connect to. See, all these little things you notice as soon as the brain fog leaves you, you actually accomplish something. Okay, this, I know there's other trees around here, but this is no longer a really convenient thing for them to do. Come down here to get this, and then start construction on this. This is your chance now. Speak now or forever hold your peace. Not that I think any of you will withhold any amount of criticism if it is due, but I do plan on completing this next episode unless you guys tell me, hey, that's a really stupid, horrible idea and don't do that, and then at that point I will have to consider not doing that. But I know for sure I want this to be blocked off. The issue is going to be pressurizing this while also having access to the sensor to make sure that it is clear in here. Because I want to automate this fill valve to only open if the water behind here is like under 1% contamination. And this one, of course, needs to close when this one opens. That's not hard. I know how to do that. But the problem is getting the sensor in here without it also flooding. Because I don't think, because of the height here. Oh, no. We don't want to do this at all. If you have already left a comment to this effect, I want you to know I appreciate you, and I thank you very much for your service to our community. All we've got to do is just build that, and then build that. And if the water is contaminated, this just flows out this way. If it's clean, it goes up. That's it. That's all it has to do. It doesn't have to be complicated. No, wait, no, that still doesn't solve the problem. because this has to be a solid column for it to go up without using something like a compact mechanical pump, which is a new 1.1 item. Because that's 700 HP I don't want to use on that. Okay. So all we have to do for that, I know I've said all we have to do like 8 times, and it's never been all we have to do. But I guess, quote-unquote, all I have to do is just put the sensor on the top of this column, not seal off the top at all. And then if the water in the column is slightly polluted, then this stays open. Otherwise, it shuts. At risk of causing yet another problem of accidentally coming up with a bad solution, I think that's going to be fine. So that's going to get me across here to build this underneath. Building the rest of this from up top. Please stop hiding that. Thank you. Then I just have to get up here enough to put a sensor in, which pretty certain. I know wood is kind of in short supply, so doing this way might not make any sense, but that is what we are going to have to do. So, oh, here we go with the automation again. If the measurement is above the threshold will set to 1%. Then this will turn on. If this is on, this has to be open. This is where this always messes me up. Contamination sensor on, target height unlimited. Contamination sensor off, target height 0. So that basically just turns it into a on-off switch. And of course, once this again is here, so I can place this thing right there where it has to go to block this off. This will have to be approached from most likely the top, which means a staircase here. And then this thorn has to be removed. And then the rest of this can be built, minus over here, which will require getting across. And it's just going to be easier to put that there and not have to worry about it. Yeah, it's going to cause us a lot less grief to do that. Okay, that's not connected because why? Okay, how did I miss that? Alright, so we know this has something to do. That is now in range. That will be in range. Unless that is not in range because of this and not because of range. Okay, stop saying range. You got it. Alright, we replaced Gear Workshop. We did not replace the Explosives Factory. That has to be put in another location. Bad water is here. Explosives Factory does need power. And I think it's probably not really going to matter exactly where this goes. So, do I have the rest of the materials? Gears, not really, but this is going to be fine. Have they still not finished this? 88%, okay. Nobody give that bot a DeLorean. I'm just going to put this here. Because it's fine. And nothing is really that serious. Warehouse for explosives. That's obviously not going to fit there, but I can put in... This doesn't need to be here. That's going to the side there. That means I can just put in my little storage for dynamite right there. Set that to explosives. Okay. Oh man, this is an hour 25 minutes. Well, you guys said you liked longer videos, so there you go. Alright, that to my knowledge, unless I have forgotten something, which is entirely possible, is everything that we had to replace from the crater explosion, with the exception of the big storage for gears. We do have some storage for gears. It is far away. It is also not connected. So now it's connected. And we have the storage for that. They can go somewhere else. But I feel like that's probably a decent enough spot to stop. I want to pause this now. I've got my bots over here. I need to make the minimum bot population of bot land like 1 billion. So that is now migrated. This will be put to work doing something, I am sure. We got a charger there. This, obviously this is not ideal, only having one charger. But as things improve, we'll get that taken care of. I think it will be worth putting power wheels, water wheels in this thing right here, getting those strung together. Maybe not really super worth it, but Yeah, this isn't actually generating any flow whatsoever. Not even a tiny bit. Really? I thought it was going to be... like literally anything, but I guess not. Well, that might not actually be as good of a thing as I thought. I know we could put some up here, but again, it's a matter of... Oh, wow, look at that. It's a matter of getting stuff... wired is the wrong word. Attached with power shafts. And yeah, we can get to this. It's just going to be one of those things that, well, you already know how that's going to go. You can tackle that next time. Power input here is still okay. Obviously, when the bad tide stops, this will be generating 25% as much power, and then we will probably have an actual problem. So before I completely say goodbye, let's chart a path over to here. Remember how I had this set up was just to get hooked up. I couldn't build it on top of the stairs the way I wanted to. That's why that did not happen. But this will definitely be a bot-required job, which means I'm going to have to cut off this path and then put the bots in. We already know this is going to be the next easiest one for us to hook up to, short of it just being a huge, enormous pain in the butt, which we already knew it was going to kind of be. Just going to have to probably, in all honesty, clear a bunch of this at once and just go with the flow. I think it's going to be easier long term to just straight line as much of this as we can. Yeah, just give ourselves a fighting chance to get over here. We have enough planks where I can, you know, justify spending 6 of them here and there to get us past some brambles. Not overly concerned about that. This we know is fine. I can't actually get to the other side of this reliably. But we know that because of how the stairs can go in and the ledge logging, so on and so forth, we know this is going to be viable. We know this can already be accessed from behind here. Might as well just mark this up, and don't forget this is... I'm saying for, as much for me as I am for you, this is something I'm going to have the bots attached to. So, since the beavers are still sleeping, disconnect. Now this is not connected at all. That's connected to there, and that is now connected to there. Yes, this pathing is atrocious. No, we can't really make it that much better. At least not right now without removing more thorns. So this coming over here is 192 squares away from the district center. Obviously that's not ideal, but that is a charger that's available to us. This is not connected, so it's not going to tell me. That's also not going to tell me. That's not going to tell me. These stairs are 142. I don't really have a better way to get these guys in here, but they are working on this. Metal blocks wise, I do not have any storage because it's attached to the other district. Let's get that reattached. Yes, I'm going to put a district crossing in. No, I'm not doing it right now. We'll do it eventually. This is about ready to turn those things back on. Got my one bot that's paused. Do I want to send these guys back into the factories? I'm already at minus 14. It might be time to turn these back on, the breeding pods. Although, honestly, I think we can just pull them from builder slots to do the rest of these jobs, and that would be fine. I'm more concerned about power consumption, so I'm going to have to add another 300 to turn both of these on. You know what? That's actually not that bad. That's probably fine. And the food factory could be paused if we had to pause it. Let's turn both of those back on. I have one arm, one limb. I need to make chassis, I need to make limbs, then I need to turn one of these into a head thing. You know, honestly, I probably should just build another bot part factory, but I don't exactly have a ton of materials. These guys doing what they're supposed to be doing is probably fine. For right now, because this is objectively kind of dumb to not have one of these right next to them, I'm just going to have that set up like so. Pile for some planks, again, just because Why in the world do we not have storage for this stuff right next to what we're doing? Logs right there. We can make it look better, make it prettier, whatever, at some other point in time. These overhangs can go away. The pumps for this, remember, I'm going to relocate here. This is now going to be much more arable land. I was going to try to not have them cross through here, but I probably need to. I don't know. You know what? If you have ideas for this, leave them in the comments, and we'll take a look at those for the next episode. I've already said like 5 times this is a good time to stop, and now it's over an hour and a half, so I really have to. But I just really wanted to make sure I at least laid out some sort of a semblance of a plan for this. It just, you know how it goes. So, that's where we're going to leave it. I really appreciate you guys sticking with this series. I know sometimes it's been frustrating, but I think most of the people that are left, like some of you have been telling me, are the ones who are in it for the long haul and are still interested in contributing helpful discussion and ideas. So I appreciate you beard boosters as well, supporting the channel, making so I don't have to run sponsors and I don't have to try to game the algorithm or use clickbait or stupid AI generated thumbnails or whatever. I'm just a dude having fun playing the game. Not that great at it, but I do enjoy doing it, and I enjoy getting to talk to you. Whatever it is you're doing with the rest of your day, stay safe, have fun, and we'll see you again when the next episode comes out. Take care. Bye-bye.